Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 52 of the Rise of Icelandic Football here with HK. This is quite a special episode, but however we're on the under 19 screen, so if you haven't watched episode 51, it was against Atletico Madrid, please go watch that one now. It was actually very entertaining, two legs of football, and it was quite close at times in those two legs, and go check it out, no spoilers, no nothing, go watch it, go and enjoy some fabulous HK play and one of Atletico strikers is absolute sensational. Go and enjoy, watch him score a couple of goals as well. Some crazy goals. I can promise you goals when you go watch that one there. I won't promise you clean sheets, that is for sure. That's your 1 second there to go watch it. If you go in and there's probably people going, oh my god, look at the top left hand screen. Yes, it has happened finally. And we're not even at the match day for our first ever game as an Icelandic manager, and it is an important game. We have got Wales coming up in the first qualifying round of the Champions qualifying for the European Champions Cup. Now, the European Champions Cup, or the European Championship, or whatever you call it, wherever you are, the Euro Cup, or some people call it, but then they get confused with the Europa League. We are obviously, where's our group? I saw. We're in Group E. If we actually go to just out of all thing and go to Group E, we are there. We've got Macedonia, Latvia, Ukraine, and Wales. When I saw that group, I actually fancied myself to maybe get out of this group and maybe make it to the Champions, the European Football Championship. In saying that though, it could be still difficult. Latvia, Ukraine, Wales have all got decent players. I feel like Macedonia's a side that have got very good players, but maybe we can get at. Obviously they've got like this guy, and this guy's in my shortlist, so he must have been good at some point. But I'm feeling like Ukraine we can get at maybe at home. Latvia are going to be decently difficult, but still, again, I reckon we can get at home. Wales is what I'm scared of because when they produce some really good regions, do the Welsh, and yeah, we are Icelandic manager, which is really good for us. This is what the team looks like at the moment, but we'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to talk about how it came about. So finally, if we go to out of their schedule, right, and we go to last year, you can see they didn't win a game last year. The year before World Cup qualifying, they had a decent run at qualifying, but didn't qualify out of Group 6 to get to the World Cup, unfortunately for them. The World Cup qualifying will start again in December, but after losing every game here, the job security of the Icelandic manager, because only the board don't expect much, right? If I go to the board, right, they expect you really to just be competitive, right? So losing games is okay, but losing every single game, the manager in charge went from being very secure to stable, and then out of nowhere it started saying his options was keeping his options open, and then in the end he just resigned. Simple as that. He resigned. I don't know how far down we can go, but he resigned. It doesn't really matter too much, does it? He resigned. We obviously applied for the job and said yes, we're interested, and not even within 3 days later, we got the manager's role. So basically, as soon as we finished the Champions League game, I simmed a couple of days forward whilst editing, and then it came up that the Icelandic job was available, and I was like, whoa, okay, what's happened? Investigated, saw that he resigned. Can't remember what the manager's name is. It's really long. And it's Icelandic, hard to spell. It doesn't really matter too much. So we obviously came in there and we went in and we got the job. And, I'm so glad to have it. I'm so glad to have a European Championship qualifying as well. The reason that I thought it was the right time to take the job, we got out the group and get to the knockout stage. We're in a very good spot with the squad. Players are happy. We know where we need to strengthen, hopefully, for next year. If we can keep the same group of players, we're quite happy, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we are in a very good spot here. Iceland itself, in terms of players, is a bit hit and miss. There's some spots where I want to improve and some spots where I don't. I think it's important to highlight what we want from this Icelandic side. First things first is that we, in terms of 2028, as much as it would be nice to reach the Champions Cup, the European Champions Cup, it's not a necessity for me. We're using this campaign as a campaign to grow the Icelandic side, get them used to playing this. We're playing the 4-3-3 DM formation, but with a cam, and you'll see why we're playing it with a cam instead of a DM. We could have used a Dagger Dan, but there's a cam that needs to be used, and you'll see why. But that allows us to obviously get our best players in. I've already talked to Gleason. He doesn't want to declare for Iceland just yet. He wants to see if he can get into the Brazil nationals team. If he can't get into the Brazil national team, we're surely going to pick him up. The reason we're doing it now is that in a year's time, when the Champions Cup does come around, I believe Kane and Lucas Lockback will be available for selection. I would imagine they will declare for Iceland, considering that they can't play for Brazil because they haven't played for Brazil and they're obviously 30. That would go straight in. My team would look like this then. I've got it written down. I've spent like an hour writing down names and what we could. So the team would probably look like Jon in goals, and Jon's created some stir. The players weren't exactly really happy with me when I came in, because the first thing I did is I took, where is he? I took this guy off captaincy. A 33-year-old looks good, yes, but he's 33, and I reckon that at 33 is slightly over the hill. Is Ingerson. He had good leadership, right? But Jon's obviously younger. He's going to be in the team for a lot longer. He's 28, he's 44, he's the goalkeeper. He's got good leadership. So I was quite happy to bring Jon in as captain. I think I made Gunnarsson vice captain, or maybe it was Stein. I'm not 100% sure. I made someone vice captain. Doesn't really matter too much. I know it was someone from HK. And everybody was like, whoa, what are you doing here? And I was like, look, just listen, understand. This is my time. This is my team, and we're building for the future. We're not building for now. We told the press that. I was also then asked why I picked Gunnarsson. It's Gunnarsson. He's probably one of Icelandic's best ever players. Isberg can't find a way into the starting lineup, but Isberg didn't really play off the bench. He was just snubbed from the other manager. Don't worry, he'll be featuring a lot as well. But my side that I'm thinking of 2030 is Jon in goals. I'm then thinking that we need to find a fullback, a right fullback. I'm hoping it's Gleason, but at the same time, Gleason might not be available. Arneson's decent, the 31-year-old, but he's 31. He will be definitely over the hill by the time we get there in 3 years' time. His pace could have dropped off dramatically, but he does look like a very good fullback on attack. That is for sure, and he will be getting his first cap today. I don't know how he hasn't got a cap already. He just plays the role so well. Henderson's the centre back that I'm thinking about having on the bench. I want to find a centre back partner, Anderson, who's here. Anderson just looks like one of those centre backs that are just absolutely out of this world. In terms of just being a commanding centre-back. We tried to sign him many years ago on a free, and he didn't want to come to us. He might want to come to us now from Barnsley, but he wants to stay in England, I'm pretty sure. He's just got the big free heading, marking, tackling. He's got okay pace for someone at 6'5", but he's just going to be able to go out there and deal with aerial bombardment, corners and all that stuff. In terms of what I would have picked, this guy here actually looks decent. But the left back, he's 22. He's 22. Got a little bit of potential. Got good physicals. Just not a complete enough left back for us to play. Obviously, when the World Cup comes around, we're hoping this is Lucas Lockback, right? That midfield too, I'm hoping it would change. Anderson would stay, and in the Mazzala, he's 30. I reckon at 33, he'll still be quite good as long as his pace doesn't drop below 10. I would happily use him. We tried to sign him on a free many moons ago, but that never happened as well. He rejected us. You can see why. He looks sensational as an Icelandic midfielder. He just looks completely all-rounded, well-rounded. Cyril Jonsson looks sensational, a 32-year-old, yes, but I'm thinking that for the next World Cup at 35, he might be over the hill. I'm thinking definitely part of the bench if he's not too slow with making the squad. It's good to have some senior heads around. I'm expecting it to be Anderson and then Gunnarsson, who can play midfield, can come in the midfield, because obviously out here we want Kanan. We don't even care if Kanan's speed should still be good enough for him to go there. And Lockback and Kanan obviously have that great understanding. Kanan is the inside forward, Lockback bombing on. You can see why. Stein on the other side, I'm leaving our centre attacking mid till last. Stein's obviously going to be here. I think he might be vice captain. He's 21. He's got plenty of games left in him. Atlason is a 19-year-old striker that's got very good stats. I want to get him game time because I think he will grow into a very good striker for us. There's better strikers out there at Iceland at the moment, but they're all like 30 odd. This guy at 19 is pretty good. I've got to remember that my youth prospects that are like 3-star are going to be really good for Icelandic football, so it's important to get them loaned out. I think I have a striker somewhere that's pretty good. But this is the main guy that we're here, right? This guy's 14 when I click on him, by the way. Regen and OJ Nice this season. He's 14. Sorry for the swearing, but he's 14. 14. Got a contract at 2031, right? Came out at OJ Nice. Has played one game in the national too, because OJ Nice are gone. Reserves are down there, right? And he got a 7.9 scoring on his debut. click back on him. He's 14 with 16 passing, 15 first touch, 15 teamwork. Determination needs to be tutored big time. But there we are. If people are asking, well, have you scouted him yet? Well, yeah, don't worry, I've scouted him. I'm thinking about just picking him up, even though that doesn't look great, and just get him in with the Icelandic boys. Get him homegrown as well for the Champions League. What I would do with this kid, right, is even though he can't play fullback right at all, right. I would just train him to play fullback as depth. I would just train him to play up front as depth, and just get those really good. And then I'll just train him to play as a centre attacking mid, and make him the versatile player of the Icelandic national side. So if we had like injuries to backup players, or we had injuries to our first choice, like Luke Slovak went down injured, our backup left back then picks up a knock, you can play Paulson there at left back. I feel like that's what we're going to do. In terms of signing him, I'm pretty sure they want like a big chunk of money as well. They want probably about 6 mil. Percentage of net profit, yeah, not a problem. I'm thinking about giving him over 12 months, 2 installments. We're going to do this live. Why not? Do it live. I have to get him in, right? As Icelandic manager, I have to get him in. I'm thinking, there we go. We'll do that. We'll go 750k up front, 1.5 mil. After 50 league appearances, we'll probably come up quickly. We want to give him 375k. And after 20 international appearances, which is obviously going to happen, we're going to give him 375k. I just want to see if they would negotiate with that. I'm not going to go into full depth right now, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. The bench should obviously got a few people that you might notice. Dagadan, who's currently on loan, can play that deep line playmaker very well in games. We're going to shut up shop. Dagadan's going to definitely come on. Victor, for anyone that doesn't know, used to be at us, Mr. the breast man himself. I would love to start Victor right now, obviously, over Jonsson, but Jonsson's just too good when you compare him to Victor. Victor is okay, but then when it comes to going forward and vision and playmaking, all that sort of stuff, it's it's night and day. Victor, though, when you're trying to shut up a game, is very good defensively, so obviously bring him on. Anor needs to be highlighted as well, the 27-year-old. He might be another starting midfielder as well. There's case to play him here, but at 27 he's not going to develop. Obviously, Jakui Magnussen, this is what the problem is. He's a striker that isn't as good as everyone else, but I know what I'm going to get from him, and that is for sure. I'm going to give him a run out here, and then maybe go pick a striker. If we go to our national pool, right, and we look for strikers at the moment, if we go to players searched, at our national pool, we go to just new, we go to striker at any age. We get people that are decent for us, yes, that haven't been selected. So like Carlson at 30 looks decent, right? But he's not our sort of striker that we usually use. Lacks the pace. He's just quite, very target man. Maybe a good plan B. The FH guy looks decent, but he's not actually a natural striker. We're talking about natural strikers here. Come on, where's another one? There's the 16-year-old there as well, but just in terms of depth up top, it's not that great. There's not what I want to see. National pool. That's what I want. So we get off defenders and just go attackers, right? We go by recommendation. So we obviously got this striker. Atlas is obviously playing. Alderson, sorry, is obviously playing for us. And then it's just like, look, guys that can sort of play there but can't. And then your next one here is this guy, a 16-year-old, and you just go, okay, so he's not ready to play ever. In terms of ability, the intelligent target man and Carlson is our best bet as well. We can't call him up to the national side anyway, because we've already selected it, right? But once again, just because he's lacks that acceleration and that, I prefer to give players that I know can fit the system time. It does give us 3 years to find like an Icelandic regen somewhere, hoping that someone pops up, maybe in our youth regen or something like that will pop up. If we actually go to HK and go to our under-19s, right, and we just search by striker, we've got this guy that's very good, with good potential, is Ingi Vidson. I want to move him to, not my senior squad, right, but I want to move him into the Icelandic national B squad, but I want him to play for the under-19s, that he is. I really just want to get him playing good football, growing as much as possible and get his determination up. In terms of tutoring, we can give him Flamen to tutor him. Flamen has very good determination, which would be good for his development, but obviously doesn't have any player things there. But I'm just going to tell him to just go and tutor him quickly as well. But I'm definitely thinking as on to Wilson. We're going to actually just put a note in, create note, potential first choice Icelandic striker. There we go. Just got to make sure that we just remember that he's there. It might be worth giving him game time, but maybe not in like the European Champions qualifying. Maybe it's worth giving him game time later down the year as well. There's always a case that Robert doesn't declare for Portugal and doesn't get a Portugal's cap, and then he declares for us. Even though that potential is lacking, he could potentially turn into a striker for us as well in the Icelandic side, which means that maybe the 2030 World Cup, even as much as we'll have a few heroes from HK that were declared, we probably won't have anybody in that 2030 World Cup. We probably won't 2034 World Cup. We probably won't have the likes of Lucas Lockwood and MK, and then I might be around again, but maybe off the bench. But those sort of young strikers like the 16-year-old we just saw, Roberto Carvalho, if he doesn't declare for Portugal and declares for us, and we can convince him to come play. We can potentially have a very good squad going forward. You know, you're still going to have Stein, Gunnarsson, the 14-year-old. He's going to be 17 at the World Cup. Like, what's he going to look like at 17? Now, as much as he might not be good enough for HK, right? Which I think he definitely would be good enough in the league for HK, right? So we're going to give him plenty of league games to grow at 14. I'm not going to stun his development. I'm going to make sure he develops into quite a good player. But the thing is, at 14, he'll be 17 for the 2030 World Cup, right? What's he going to look like at 17? You would imagine he's going to look very good. Then imagine what he's going to look like, obviously, in the 2034 World Cup when he is, what, 21, 22? He's not even in his prime yet. And he could look absolutely insane for the national side, that is for sure. I'm really glad, and you're going to see him play. He's going to just play week in, week out at 14 in the national side. I don't care how young he is at 5'5". He's obviously going to grow and all that as well. Be nice to get a 14-year-old, obviously, in the HK ranks as well. So we're going to quickly save the game. The game's in a few days' time. I'm not going to sim to that live. Instead, that was all the talking done. I wanted to get the talking out the way first, so when we get into the Welsh game, we can just go pump ourselves up and get right into it. In terms of how many games we're going to bring to you on YouTube today, we're going to bring in the Welsh game for sure. I feel like that we have to. That's never mind. I was going to say if there was another game, we have to bring it to you, but there's not. So it's just the Welsh game that we're going to bring you. Going to quickly save the game. That's going to be the end of this little talking part. When you see me next, it's going to be for the Wales game, and we're going to get straight into it. I would love to. Love to obviously go win the Welsh game, but I don't know what to expect. First game as manager. Plus, it's Wales, probably the hardest team in the group that we could have picked to start off at. But it is in Iceland. Not at the HK Stadium, I don't think, but in the Icelandic National Stadium, which I don't know where it is. But that's enough of me talking now. We're going to get straight into the game. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen, and don't go anywhere. Episode 52, more of episode 52 coming right up. I think this is the worst thing that can happen in Football Manager. You get excited about signing a player, and then they say this. I thought this could have been the case at 14, that he wanted to stay there and really start developing, keep developing here. I just want to get his determination up. Well, that's what my head is in. If we can get him before he turns 16, that's the main goal, right? But we had a bid accepted for him of about 4.8 mil in total. You know, that's quite cheap, I feel, for a guy that's 14 with potential. But obviously Paulson's report is not the best for us, but he would be useful. I just want to get him in. Apparently he's got no transfer interest. I'm just going to, remove him from the thing. I'm going to make sure he's added in the thing. We're just going to create a quick note, and we're just going to create a note. We have to sign him because he's 14, right? But I'll be back for the Welsh game. We're only a couple of days away now, so don't go anywhere. Wales coming up, our first ever game as Icelandic manager in just a second. Well, welcome back, YouTube. Episode 52. It is game day, and it's finally game day. A little bit of team news. We had someone pick up an injury. I can't remember who it was. I think it was our backup right back that we don't even think we highlighted. He picked up an injury. He's out of the squad. So we're one man down in the squad, but we've obviously got one game, so we should be okay. In terms of the bench, I don't know if you're allowed to have 7 on the bench, if you're allowed to have 12. What we are going to do is we're going to just bring everybody that we can onto the bench, but I want to leave like that side as it is in terms of positions 3 down to 7, and obviously put positions 1 and 2, obviously looking for the future. I've got a couple of players that play well for the under-19s that have some potential that we got to think about for maybe Icelandic teams in the future. But yeah, the press really didn't like that I've omitted a couple of people. The press also really didn't like that I included Gunnarsson. I don't understand why. But we're obviously going to get straight into today's game here against Wales. Hold a team meeting. A lot of the players were quite happy that I've actually introduced quite a lot of players. People that weren't happy were a couple of these lads through here that were not happy with the older generation not being, still captain, like Ingerson and a couple of the older lads not happy that he's still captain. There's a couple of lads that said, no, we need experience in this side, not youth. we're obviously building for the future, and that's what we're going to do. So today's result does not bother me too much. It's all about playing good football. We're going to go out there and get into the game, that is for sure. The teams are warming up, and let's get into it. We're going to take a look at this Wales side that I'm expecting to be quite strong in 2027. Ben Woodburn's up front and Danny Woods in goals, so two lads that I know quite well, being Liverpool supporters. Woodburn obviously has moved on from Liverpool back in real life, but here we go in the save. He seems like he does move on the whole. There we are. It's alright. He's obviously at Leicester now. Danny Wood, looking sensational. There's 55 caps, contracted at Rangers. Just looks like a very good experienced keeper. Yon's not too far off his level. The Welshman looks absolutely amazing. The wonder kid right back. That is for sure. This is what happens, right? Premier League clubs produce all these Welsh wonder kids, and the Welsh side turns into a really good team. Regan Paul was one of those players that you seem to be able to pick up for cheap on the game, especially as a championship club, and can take you up to the Prem. Very good player that I recommend if you can pick him up in his early days. Jada Silva, the Welshman, looks great, but we've obviously got a lot of speed out there on the right, so maybe we can get at him. They're playing quite defensive, like a 4-5, and it's a very flat 5 and a 1. So maybe there is going to be space for us to play. Ricky Taylor looks sensational from Fulham, the Welshman. This guy here, Hartigan, is not the best midfielder ever, I don't think, but he still looks decent and probably is on about the level with my sides, as well as my alarm goes off to say if you're not up yet, you should be up by now. Tom Lawrence looks obviously pretty good, the 33-year-old, but his pace is starting to wane, so maybe we could be okay in the middle of the park. Sion Spencer there looks decent as well, the 26-year-old. So they have a lot of good players, and then they have a lot of just solid players. Harry Wilson. He's 37 mil at Watford. I wonder what sort of year Harry Wilson's had since he Liverpool left for 8 mil. I feel like that's a bargain for Harry. And then obviously Ben Woodburn is still at Liverpool and looks like just an absolutely amazing striker that can obviously play on the left or the right. I actually think Ben Woodburn in real life is best Rob's here. But on Football Manager inside forward, and you can see why you would play him an inside forward. He definitely could probably play as a complete forward or a poacher pretty well. And I think Wales are using him in the right spot. Obviously, no Bale. I wonder if Bale is their manager. No real names that I noticed off the bench, that is for sure. We've obviously got Yon in goals. Siri, Grierson, Anderson, Herman. I'm just going to nickname him Herman. Arneson, Enerson, Sigurd Jorgensen, Palason, Gunnarsson, Stein, and Atlason. A lot of the songs there, obviously, as we are in Iceland. Just going to tell them, look, lads, go have some fun tonight, see how we go. I don't want to increase the pressure. I'm just going to tell them, look, have full faith in these guys, go out there and do the business. In terms of maybe going in with some instructions, I feel like because it's international football weekend, we're just going to show a couple of people on their weaker foot and see if we can maybe do something. I feel like if we went to close down and be tighter and do like a whole heap, I feel like we get pulled out of position. I feel like it's important to keep our shape, a lot more what we do in HK, and then go from there. Got to go into the tunnel, and I'm about to take charge as my first day. I'm absolutely delighted. 99% of players don't think that's that bad there. I don't feel it's my place to comment on people. It's a tricky game. We had to face them at some point. Look, why not first up? Here we go, the Icelandic Stadium. I can't pronounce it. It's got some weird Icelandic name, but it looks sensational. This is where all the pre-season cup games are played. And we obviously in our blue, white and red, but basically just say the blue, and obviously Wales in their normal red and white. Be nice to see if we could score from straight away, but we don't. Goodison actually gets chopped inside 13 seconds. And here we go. It's HK. It's Iceland versus Wales. I was about to say it's HK. Game itself is petering out. First 10 minutes we are dominating the ball, that is for sure. But with Wales' quality going forward, I'm expecting them to play a very good counter system, just like this. As I say that, Ben Woodburn there, he's one-on-one. Come on, Jon, produce something. Instead, he doesn't need to. Woodburn's lashed that one wide. That's what I'm expecting really from Wales, is just to watch him sit back and absorb some pressure and then hit us on the break. I reckon that might work into our difference. And Paulson there, the 14-year-old with a good ball out wide. The cross doesn't find anyone, and Wilson now will pick it, just thump it long, and we do retain possession and try and recycle. Siri Goodison's ball is long and headed away by Olm, but only as far as Goodison, who can whip in a really good cross. Goodison, front post, Atlason, he just didn't win it, did he? Maybe there's a case, maybe to play a target man. That switch of play to Taylor's really good. His ball inside the Woodburn now, running at his man, still with Woodburn. Now all the numbers come forward here for Wales. They push numbers forward from very deep. in this 4-5-1. Lawrence now, chance to lay into Woodburn front post. That's going to be 1-0. Tom Lawrence into Woodburn at the front post, and Wales do score in the 16th minute. I think we can't be too disheartened though. 15 minutes in, we've actually looked decent in terms of stats. Haven't really created too much, as Wilson just gets space down here, plays a good ball down the line. Lawrence is going to get there first with the speed that we highlighted before, and Ben Wilburn at 27, he's not going to miss that. But if we look at the stats, obviously the same amount of shots, but we're dominating possession. That's what we want from this system. If we can dominate possession, we will be okay. Someone looks disheartened. That's not the model that we want to have. So the ball inside doesn't find Stein. The back pass there from Ward, he's thumped along, but Anderson in his first cap does get up. Palmerston's not going to have the physical presence to deal with that. We want the ball on the deck to him because he's good at ball playing, and that is for sure. Siri Jonsson's ball there finds Gunnarsson, and he's not natural left mid role, but can definitely play. The whips in the ball straight to Danny Ward in goals. Hopefully, maybe we can press out and win the ball. Do like that we're crossing a lot. At HK though, a lot of those crosses are to people that can actually, a decent headering, but obviously got the pace. It might be a case to play the 30-year-old target man now that I think about it, but wanted to give the youngsters a game. As Wilson gets on the ball, Wilson with a chance. Jon makes himself big. Good save there at the front post by Jon. The cutback was definitely onto the back post there. One of the midfielders coming forward from deep. The corner comes in. We do deal with it. Herman gets that one away. Still dominating possession, but haven't had created too much of it. It was obviously the first game. The boys need to get used to this sort of tactic. Anderson gets up, and that's what he's there for. He's a very big presence in the box. Wilson's ball down the line, expecting Woodburn to probably get there first, and he does get there first, and he goes down like he's a sack of potatoes. Anderson is going to get a booking here, and it's a pen. Woodburn against Jon. Can Jon save? Jon goes the right way, but can't get a hand. It's an absolutely amazing penalty from Ben Woodburn. For a second there, when Jon went that way, you thought he was going to get there, but Woodburn has nestled that one into the bottom corner, and we are 2-0 down. I think goal difference will be a very key part in this as well. Especially in terms of maybe finishing second or something like that. But I feel like we're still playing quite well on this system, and maybe we can work something there. That is for sure. Goodison from distance, will he shoot? He doesn't. It's not too far. Oh, imagine if he scored from that far out. Macedonia beating Latvia 1-0 as well in our group. Fine by me as well. We've got to beat all them as well. It's a free kick. Don't concede right now. Instead, Taylor, header, straight at Jon. It passed Jon. And there we go. Axwell's not having the best of games. We're going to get right in at their faces and just tell them, look, lads, this is not what we wanted from the boys. We wanted us to be quite better than this. In terms of tactically what we can do, it's a quarter. If we could score right now, that would be great. Gunnarson's ball, top of the box. He finds Stein. Stein from distance, deflected, and it's in. It's going to be an own goal of Wilson. We'll take that and take a goal here before half-time. Give us a lifeline back in the game. That is for sure. Here we go, the ball, top of the box here to Stein. Stein takes a touch. We've seen this for HK many times. It's just deflected and it's gone in off Wilson. Definitely an own goal. I don't think the shot was going on target. And we'll see how we go. We're getting into the 48th minute, which means that it's going to be half-time. No one's had a really good game here. We're going to get him in there and just tell him aggressively that I want to see a much better performance from you guys. In terms of what we can do, we can obviously push someone more further back as well, but at the same time we want to go for it. I'm actually going to switch to the HK 4-2-3-1 and really just look to go for it as a poacher, play Palmerston a little bit more forward. We've got numbers that can come off the bench, of course, as well. Gunnarsson can play out there, Stein can play out there. We're obviously just going to get these guys bombing on as well. I feel like we're just going to chase the game, and this sort of system is a little bit more aggressive in terms of how we press and how we try to win the ball back. And maybe we can go and press that 5 midfield. They should play around us, but at the same time, we have to go for it at some point. In terms of making changes, I feel like it's time to bring Victor on. Sirenson's getting a little bit tired, and at the same time, there's a lot more that he can probably have done in this game. Where is Victor? Victor's a little bit more defensive, but doesn't know this system because he played it for many years. Stein's not having the best of the game as well. We're going to get Isberg in as well, the Icelandic national hero, and see what we can do. As the changes are made, there is a highlight here. Victor, his first couple of touches for the new reign of Iceland, gets back on the ball again, and can we just keep it? They're pressing quite high here. Anderson's good at a pass, and he switches it out to the Anderson. Isberg can beat his man if he wants to. Isberg still with Isberg. Isberg's crossing. Anderson knocks down. Anderson should have scored and made it 3-2. He's put it over the bar from the 6-yard box. It was definitely a chance. Jon's ball now finds Henderson. He plays it inside there to Victor. Victor now, he finds Palmerston. Palmerston's ball there. Anderson is very good. He finds Arneson there. Arneson finds Isberg. Isberg back to Arneson. We're keeping it superbly well here. Anderson's got to keep and does. He finds Victor who's come onto the game and look the goods. Palmerson's ball, it's a great ball out to Isberg. Isberg drilling that cross front post. There is Atlason who was onside surely. That's 3-2. Let's go. 60th minute, plenty of time to come back, boys. That is absolutely superb stuff from us. We change the system and off we go. Victor gets the ball. Palmerson's ball inside to Isberg. Isberg though gets on that one there. Plays that one there front post, and Atlason just puts that one in, and there we go. The boys are looking fired up. They're looking motivated. Anderson's on a booking and a yellow card. I don't want to make a change though and bring on a defender for just Do we? Both centre backs are on bookings. Anderson's going to come off, and we're going to bring on Ingios, and we have to, right? If an injury happens, an injury happens. I just don't want us to go and go down to 10 men and really kill us. I feel like the system's correct. I don't feel like we have to go attack or anything because we play through the line so well. So good to watch here. Palison, his ball finds Anderson. Anderson's ball finds Isberg. Anderson doesn't bomb on, which is really strange here, attacking fullback. Good stuff from Victor. Victor's come on and changed this game. Victor, what a ball. Goodison's there. Goodison with a touch. Goodison with the effort. Saved again by Danny Ward. He didn't know anything about the second one. Oh, it's a massive chance. Should have scored there. Victor gets on it again. Can Victor find Ansiri? He does. Siggy's ball in there is not good enough. What a chance for Goodison. He's missed 2 clear-cut ones. We are all over Wales right now. The ball inside there from Palmerston funds Victor. Victor funds Atlason. Atlason with not much around him funds Palmerston, the 5'5", 14-year-old. Lays it back to Anderson. Anderson funds Victor. Victor funds Goodison. Goodison there to Atlason. Back to Goodison. There's space out one for Siri Goodison. His ball back post. Atlason gets up. Lays to Isberg. Isberg's put it in straight at the keeper. Anderson's hit straight at the keeper. Isberg's on an offside position. Oh my God, it's all happening. Apparently it was a corner anyway. Oh, 3 chances in the 75th minute. We can't get through Danny Ward. Isberg's corner, back post, clear pass everyone. Goodison heads down. Emerson, chances everywhere, dominating the game. Can we put it in the back of the net? We can't. I'm going to keep it on the same. Why would you change the tactics? We're dominating the game. Wales here. Can they hold on though? Not many highlights going up. At some point we probably have to go attacking, don't we? We're going to go to attacking. We're going to leave everything as it is, but we're just going to push both fullbacks up and just tell them to go push ball on forward. Be attacking, and that is it. Just pushing numbers forward here. Come on, confirm the changes. Let's go. 5 minutes at a time. Can we make it 3-3? We've definitely had chances. Oh, it's poor, and it's going to fall to Taylor. We're going to get hit on the break, aren't we? Still with Taylor. Ben Woodburn's in the box. That's a good ball. Ben Woodburn's going to score. It's against the run of play. It's so frustrating. They have not deserved that one at all. Ricky Taylor, it's just lucky. I'm going to tell the boys you're unlucky here tonight because, let's be honest, the game on the line, we have absolutely dominated Wales, and Danny Ward has saved absolutely everything in this last 15 minutes. We have missed big one-on-one chances. We're going to lose 4-2 and concede one of the very last kicks of the game to lose 4-2. Isberg came on and changed the game. Look, I'm going to tell him that, look, I can't fault anyone he is. It wasn't our day today. It's just so frustrating to go and concede late and, Goodison apparently got injured on international duty with a bruised knee. It's just unlucky. Post-match, I saw enough of the performance to give me confidence about a chance. That is for sure. He chose not to bring... I felt the balance of the game as was, and that is true. Ben Woodman had a great day. I have to hold my hands up, and he carried him. I think he's a great future, and you'll certainly be hearing his name a lot. It's not far to discuss about what happened with Axwell. Ingleson takes the feet on the chin, and that is for sure. Iceland must learn quickly. It's true, they must learn the system quickly, but there's a lot there against the best side in the group that there we are. I'm going to hold a team meeting. We're in real danger of not qualifying. It's been par for the course for now, but you're not doing badly. But let's all kick on now, make a member qualification campaign. Everybody's happy with that. I saw the reaction I was happy for. A lot of lads look up. Where's Victor? Victor came on and changed that game. As much as Isberg came on and was absolutely delighted. Where is Victor? I can't see him. Where's Victor? Victor, there we go. He came on and changed the game. Victor was absolutely amazing then for us. That is for sure. Been playing okay at Brest, but not great. What do you think, guys? Maybe we just go straight to the 4-2-3-1 and just make it our own. Play him as a poacher up there. Stein, Palmerston can probably play as an advanced playmaker on support. Anderson can probably play box to box. Keep Victor. We might just start Victor as the deep line playmaker from the get-go. Goodison. That might be our best side for the next game. We've got Latvia in 76 days' time. That probably might be the next episode. It depends where it all falls in with qualifying and all that sort of stuff as well. But from Damien, the Icelandic manager as well as the HK manager, don't worry, we're still here. We're still looking to go and try and conquer Europe with HK as well. that is going to end episode 52. Let me know what you thought of our first Icelandic game. I saw enough there for us to go and win that game of football. I saw definitely enough to go get a point. We are super unlucky. Gurlison's chance there where he finishes, has the first one, Danny Wood saves it with like his legs, and then the second one he just puts it anywhere and just kicks it straight at Danny Wood that doesn't even move. It just sums up how the luck in Iceland sometimes go. You've got to create your own luck though, and hopefully that is the sign of changing the guard. I do desperately think that we do need that 30-year-old striker to come in and just be a bigger presence up top. Atlason did look good, did score on his debut for Iceland, but at the same time, it might not even been his debut. Might have already had a cap or two, but has scored on his debut for us anyway. I definitely think the 19-year-old's definitely the future of Iceland, but I think that 30-year-old striker that they were harping on about probably has to come back in and definitely be an option off the bench as well. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're from. This is Damien signing off for episode 52. Episode 53 will be somewhere down the line. I don't know if it's going to be an international game or maybe a Champions League game. It all depends on how the fixtures work out, but you'll be seeing me soon, don't worry. Have a good day or night, ladies and gentlemen. As always, check me out on Twitch below. We will stream some point live. If we have like games of like Champions qualifying games and then Icelandic national team games, we're definitely going to do them as well on stream. It'll be super fun, so go check us out on the stream. There's also now my Twitter link down below. I'm going to be releasing all when I release content and go live on Twitter as well. So if you want to follow me on Twitter and use your Twitter, my link will be in the description below. I did make that Twitter when I was about 14, so if you find anything there, apologies. There's nothing really. I barely ever use Twitter. It's more that I'm a massive Liverpool supporter, so you might see a lot of Liverpool stuff. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, and have a good one, guys, and goodbye.